Welcome to this explainer. Picture yourself entirely alone. The low hum of your engine is literally the only sound you can hear. And that pitch black night outside, it feels like it's pressing right up against the glass of your windows. Today, we're going to break down a truly thrilling piece of microfiction. It's a story that manages to take one of our safest, most controlled environments and twist it into an absolute nightmare.
Just listen to this. If you're driving alone tonight and your car's blind spot monitor suddenly lights up, do not look in the rearview mirror. Man, what a hook. I absolutely love how that grabs you right by the collar. As we deconstruct this incredibly tight narrative today, we're going to look at exactly why this piece of modern fiction is so utterly terrifying and how it manipulates the everyday technology we take for granted. So let's get right into the architecture of this scare.
Okay, let's dive into this, starting with Section 1, the hook, and this concept of modern isolation.
The author knows exactly how to trap the reader right from the jump. They bypass the whole cliched haunted house setup to give us a scene that feels intimately, almost uncomfortably familiar. 2 a.m., a deserted highway, alone. And just a handful of words, you instantly feel this intense vulnerability. You know that feeling, right? When you're driving in the dead of night, the world outside your headlights basically ceases to exist. You're in this protective bubble of steel and glass, sure, but you are also entirely cut off from the rest of humanity. It is the literal, perfect incubator for fear.
And that brings us to this working definition of modern isolation. You see, we're surrounded by advanced engineering, 5-star safety ratings, and all these sensors designed explicitly to protect us. But by stripping away the actual presence of other people, those conveniences become totally meaningless the second something defies logic. Just imagine yourself in that exact late-night scenario. Your phone's got GPS, your car is top of the line, but if there's no one around to hear you scream, you are truly isolated. That paradox is exactly what makes this setting hit so hard.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 2, the betrayal of safe technology.
The author doesn't just isolate the driver physically, they actually turn the car's own built-in safety features into instruments of pure terror. Now what's really interesting here is how we trust our car's tech implicitly, right? A blind spot monitor is there to prevent accidents, a seatbelt chime is there to keep you secure. But this story violently subverts those comforting little features. Suddenly, the blind spot monitor isn't detecting a merging car, it's detecting the supernatural unseen. And that seatbelt chime, triggered by an empty passenger seat, it's no longer a helpful reminder. It becomes cold, hard technological proof of an impossible presence. Our digital safety net is literally turned into a supernatural radar.
And look at how the protagonist reacts at first. I clicked the belt in, laughing nervously at what I thought was a sensor glitch. This is such a brilliant touch of realism, the driver instantly uses logic to rationalize the terrifying anomaly. And we've all been there, right? A weird noise in the kitchen is just the house settling, a weird dashboard warning is just a glitchy wire. By anchoring the driver in logical reality first, the supernatural reveal that follows hits us 100 times harder. Why? Because the protagonist, and by extension us, have totally exhausted all rational explanations.
So, with rationality fully out the window, we enter Section 3, escalation of sensory terror.
Now, the author shifts gears. We move away from flashing dashboard lights and electronic chimes down into deeply visceral, physical experiences. They pull us directly into that claustrophobic passenger cabin. Listen to these sensory triggers. A heavy, wet sound of a deep breath. The temperature plummeting so fast your breath turns to fog. A freezing, invisible weight on the cushion. The author isn't just lazily saying, "Oh, a ghost appeared." No, they're making us feel the chilling dampness. We feel that oppressive physical weight pressing down. The pacing of the text actually slows down here, matching that creeping, icy dread spreading through the confined space of the car.
Let's move on and see how this builds, step by terrifying step. We go from a mildly annoying electronic chime in moment 1 to a highly intimate auditory threat with a wet breath right by your ear in moment 2. Then an environmental shift with the freezing fog in moment 3. And finally, actual physical pressure on the seat in moment 4. It is an absolute masterclass in escalating panic. The driver is losing their safe sanctuary piece by piece, second by second.
And then we hit the breaking point. Panic surging, I looked at the dashboard backup camera screen and my heart stopped. This right here, this is the crucial pivot point of the entire story. We move from psychological dread and environmental clues, things you could maybe, however desperately, still try to deny, to absolute, undeniable visual terror. The camera screen, yet another piece of modern tech we completely rely on, betrays the driver one last time by explicitly showing the horrifying truth.
Sitting right next to me was a pale, faceless figure, its long, skeletal fingers slowly reaching out toward my steering wheel. Just what an incredibly intense, horrifying image. But notice exactly where those skeletal fingers are reaching. They aren't reaching for the driver's throat. They are reaching for the steering wheel. It's a direct threat to the driver's physical control of the vehicle. In a car moving at highway speeds in the dead of night, losing control of the wheel is fatal. The author brilliantly combines a terrifying supernatural threat with the very real, very earthly danger of a high-speed crash.
And that brings us to our fourth and final section, the eternal cliffhanger.
The physical confrontation is here, and the trap is about to snap shut. Let's walk through the driver's frantic reactions. Step 1, pure survival instinct takes over and they slam on the brakes. Step 2, vocal terror, they scream. Step 3, the entity doesn't violently attack, it simply leans in close, making it so uncomfortably intimate. And then, Step 4, the driver hits the gas again. But why? Well, it's because of what the entity whispers in that crucial moment of deceleration.
It whispers, "Keep driving, or I'll show you how we died." Just chilling. And this brilliantly illustrates the horrific psychological trap the author has constructed. The car is no longer a vehicle of escape. It has instantly become a moving prison. The driver is now forced to be an active, willing participant in their own ongoing nightmare. They literally have to keep driving to stay alive, but they are driving with a monster-riding shotgun.
Which leads us to this haunting conclusion, knowing that if I stop, it's over. So if you're driving alone tonight, the author perfectly loops the ending right back to the opening warning we saw at the start. It is a structural marvel. By repeating that phrase, if you're driving alone tonight, the author breaks the fourth wall all over again. They pull you right out of the fiction and back into your own reality. Except now, your reality is infected with the exact same paranoia the protagonist is feeling.
So, we're left with this deeply unsettling realization. If stopping means death, where do you drive? I mean, you eventually run out of gas. You eventually run out of road. The true horror isn't just the faceless figure, it's the sheer inevitability of the end. It's a brilliant piece of writing and definitely something to chew on the next time you're on a deserted highway at 2 a.m. and that little warning light flickers on in your mirror. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. I hope you learned something fascinating today. Keep learning, and whatever you do, stay safe out there.